Imagine a world where the most inexplicable chilling events aren't just one-off anomalies, but threads in a tapestry of shadows, woven by secrets powerful enough to silence the truth for decades. What if the true crime stories we're told are just the tip of a much more sinister iceberg, deliberately designed to distract from something far darker? Today we're diving into a case that doesn't just challenge our understanding of justice, it shatters it, exposing a hidden truth so profound, so terrifying, that once you see it, you can never unsee it. This isn't just about a crime, it's about a cover-up, an almost perfect illusion crafted to make us look away. But from what exactly? To understand this deep chasm of deception, we need to go back to 2003, to the seemingly tranquil suburban town of Havenwood, a place where manicured lawns and picket fences whispered of safety. Our story begins with Clara Jenkins, a 42-year-old librarian, a creature of habit, whose life was as predictable as the Dewey Decimal System she so meticulously upheld. Clara wasn't the type to vanish. She lived alone, had a beloved cat named Mittens, and her evenings were typically spent immersed in classic literature or contributing to local historical societies. Her disappearance wasn't a sudden, dramatic event, but a slow, creeping dread that settled over Havenwood like a thick fog. On a Tuesday morning, Clara simply wasn't at work. Her car was still in her driveway, her front door unlocked, and Mittens, usually ecstatic to see her, was found huddled and hungry, a silent witness to an absence that screamed louder than any alarm bell. The initial police response was standard: missing person, likely runaway, or perhaps a medical emergency. They interviewed neighbors, checked her phone records, and found nothing. No signs of forced entry, no struggle, no note, just a void where Clara used to be. But the very absence of evidence, the unnerving lack of any disturbance, was the first red flag, a subtle, almost imperceptible tear in the fabric of their understanding. This wasn't just a disappearance, it was a vanishing act, executed with a precision that bordered on the theatrical, leaving behind only questions and an unsettling sense of deliberate erasure. But the cracks in the official narrative began to show almost immediately. Detective Miller, a seasoned veteran with a gut feeling for the wrong notes, noticed irregularities. Clara's meticulously organized home, usually pristine, had a single, almost imperceptible smudge on a bookshelf, a detail so minor it would escape most. More disturbingly, her digital footprint, usually robust for a woman so connected to her community, had suddenly gone cold. Her last email was a draft, unsent, to a local journalist titled simply, "Regarding the Havenwood Development Project." The police dismissed it as a coincidence, a common occurrence. But Miller, guided by an intuition honed over decades of deceit, pulled up old files. He found 3 other disappearances in affluent suburban towns across the state over the past 5 years. All women, all middle-aged, all living alone, all with seemingly spotless lives, and all involved in some form of local activism or community opposition to large-scale, high-value development projects. Each case, like Clara's, was eerily similar. No trace, no struggle, a complete, baffling vanishing act. The authorities had classified each as personal choice or unknown circumstances. But 4 identical, unknown circumstances in a relatively small geographical area? Miller knew conspiracy when he saw it. He started digging deeper off the official record and found something even more chilling. There was a recurring name in the background of each development project: the Meridian Group, a shadowy conglomerate with vast financial and political influence, known for pushing through controversial projects despite local opposition. As Miller connected these dots, an anonymous package arrived at his home one night. Inside, a burner phone and a single grainy photograph. The photo showed Clara, not at a local library but at a clandestine meeting, alongside 2 of the other missing women, all holding signs protesting a Meridian Group development. The phone buzzed, a text message. "They know you're looking, Miller. You're getting too close. This isn't just about a few missing people, it's about control. They're watching you." The game had changed. This wasn't a random serial killer. This was something organized, something with resources, something deeply entrenched. Miller, now operating almost completely off the grid, used the burner phone to establish contact with his anonymous informant. What he learned over the next few weeks was a terrifying revelation, peeling back layers of official corruption and corporate malfeasance. The Meridian Group wasn't just a powerful developer, it was a front for a sprawling network, almost a shadow government operating with impunity. They didn't just buy off officials, they cultivated them from early careers, ensuring absolute loyalty. The disappearances were not murders in the traditional sense. They were part of a more sophisticated operation, re-education and relocation. These inconvenient activists, once identified as significant threats to Meridian's agenda, were subtly removed, their lives meticulously erased, their identities meticulously rebuilt in obscure remote locations, far from any possibility of disrupting the powerful. The chilling part was the scale. Hundreds, perhaps thousands of individuals across the country had potentially been disappeared this way over decades, their lives repurposed, their voices permanently silenced. The smudge in Clara's home? A microscopic residue from a specialized sedative. The unlocked door? A sophisticated manipulation, making it appear she'd just stepped out. The draft email? A deliberate plant, designed to be found and then dismissed, guiding investigators away from the true motive. The missing person cases were expertly handled by compromised local police and federal agents, ensuring no real investigation ever gained traction. Miller's informant, a former operative for the Meridian Group himself, provided him with a ledger, a chilling document, detailing names, dates, and new assignments for the disappeared. Clara Jenkins, according to this ledger, was now Eleanor Vance, living a quiet life as a botanist in a remote government-subsidized commune in rural Oregon, her memories selectively altered, her will subtly redirected. The horror wasn't just in the act of vanishing, but in the psychological precision of rendering someone an entirely different, compliant entity. Detective Miller, armed with this explosive information, found himself in an impossible position. Exposing such a powerful, pervasive network would not only be a career-ending move, but potentially a life-ending one. The very systems designed to protect citizens were complicit, from local law enforcement to federal agencies. The tendrils of the Meridian Group reached into every corner. He understood now why these cases had gone cold for so long, why no real progress was ever made. The true crime narrative presented to the public was always tailored, always steered away from the fundamental truth that some disappearances aren't random acts of violence, but meticulously orchestrated acts of power designed to protect the interests of those at the very top. He tried to leak the information, sending anonymous packets to several reputable news organizations, but tellingly they all dismissed it as the ramblings of a conspiracy theorist or simply refused to touch it, quietly influenced by forces unseen. To this day, the official record still lists Clara Jenkins as a missing person, likely a runaway or an unfortunate accident. The Meridian Group continues to thrive, expanding its empire, reshaping landscapes and lives with unchecked authority. And Detective Miller? He retired early, a haunted man carrying the unbearable weight of a truth too dangerous to tell, a truth that makes us question not just what we see, but what we are explicitly prevented from seeing. We may never truly know how many Clara Jenkins there are, or how many unseen forces are actively constructing the reality we believe to be true. The real crime isn't always the one that makes the headlines. Sometimes it's the one that's systematically erased from existence, leaving behind only the chilling echo of a world where secrets are the ultimate power.